It was during the thunderous roar of over 47,000 fans at a sold-out stadium in Minneapolis, lights flashing, voices screaming, the floor shaking from the bass, that the world saw something it never expected. A message, not from a record label, not from a fan, but from a military captain thousands of miles away in a small landlocked West African country. A message from Captain Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso. And when the world heard what he said to Kendrick Lamar, grown men wept. The night of the concert was already legendary before the first lyric hit the mic. Kendrick Lamar, one of the most influential rappers of our time, stood poised to shatter a record that had remained untouched for years. The Bank Stadium in Minneapolis was packed to the rafters, 47,354 screaming fans, each holding a ticket that cost almost $200 on average. But none of that mattered when the lights dimmed, the beat dropped, and Kendrick stepped onto the stage. This wasn't just a concert. It was a message to the world. The Big Steppers Tour was more than a collaboration with SEA. It was a cultural declaration. It fused Kendrick's poetic consciousness with SEA's emotional depth, creating a space where pain, resistance, and identity danced across every note. The tour had barely begun, but night one had already become an event historians would study. Some came for the music, others came for the moment, but everyone left changed. This kind of energy doesn't just stay within the walls of a stadium. It echoes across continents. And in a small military base in Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traoré watched closely. Traoré is not your average head of state. At just 36, he rose to power after leading a revolutionary military takeover to free his country from decades of foreign manipulation, corruption, and decay. Since then, he's become a symbol of resistance not just in Burkina Faso, but across much of Africa. To many, he is Africa's youngest revolutionary leader. To others, he is the embodiment of courage in the face of global injustice. When Traoré saw the headlines about Kendrick's record-breaking show, something clicked. Here was a black man in America using music not just to entertain but to resist. A man who took trauma and turned it into truth. A man whose lyrics carried the same fire that fueled uprisings across the Sahel. Traoré didn't see a rapper. He saw a kindred spirit, and so a message was born. Not for PR, not for politics, just one brother to another. Traoré's message wasn't expected, it wasn't planned, and it definitely wasn't polished. It came in the form of a short video, just over a minute long, but its impact was unmeasurable. Dressed in military uniform standing before the flag of Burkina Faso, he spoke directly to the camera. His voice was calm but firm. His eyes carried weight, like a man who had seen too much but still believed. In the future, to Kendrick Lamar he began, "Brother, I see you." He continued in French, but subtitles quickly spread across Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. What he said next cut through the noise of the internet like a blade through silk. "I watched your performance in Minneapolis. I saw the power in your voice, the strength in your silence, and the courage in your truth. You do not sing for yourself, you sing for us, for those who still fight, for those who still bleed, for those whose voices are muted by history." He paused, letting his words sink in. "In Africa, we feel your pain because it is our pain too." The world went quiet for a moment. For many, it was surreal. An African military captain acknowledging a hip-hop artist as more than just an entertainer, but as a revolutionary in his own right. Traoré spoke of Burkina Faso's struggles, of colonization, of exploitation, of young people who die without ever knowing the freedom Kendrick raps about. "When you say, we gonna be all right," you remind us to keep standing, even when bullets fly, even when hope feels like a distant memory. He closed his message with something that made hearts across the globe stop. "Kendrick, if you ever step foot on African soil, know this: you are not a guest, you are home. And if the world has never given you your crown, Africa will." That final line echoed through the halls of history. Twitter exploded. TikTok users shared clips of the speech over Kendrick songs. Activists began translating Traoré's words into different African dialects. Even those who had never listened to a full Kendrick album found themselves drawn to the connection between this rapper and this soldier. For the first time in a long time, People weren't just talking about hip-hop or politics. They were talking about both together in a way that felt real. While the message stirred emotions across the world, the question on everyone's mind was, would Kendrick respond? The Big Steppers tour was moving forward fast, and thousands poured into every arena, city after city. But something had shifted. In interviews, Kendrick remained quiet about Traoré's message. No public statement, no tweet, no video. Fans speculated wildly. Was he planning something big? Was he too stunned to react? Or was the silence intentional, letting the weight of Traoré's words speak for themselves? Then came the second week of the tour, Los Angeles, Kendrick's hometown. This was supposed to be just another stop, another sold-out crowd, another night of bars and bass. But Kendrick had other plans. About halfway into his set, he paused the music. The stadium went dark. Then, slowly, the giant LED screen behind him lit up. Not with a sponsor, not with a lyric, but with an image, the flag of Burkina Faso. The crowd was confused for a moment. Then murmurs spread. Next came video footage, grainy clips of villages, protests, and Captain Traoré's own face. His message played in full, subtitled, and raw. You could hear a pin drop in that arena of thousands. As it ended, Kendrick stepped forward and grabbed the mic. He said, "Only one thing. My voice is yours too." Then the beat to "All Right" dropped, and the crowd erupted. People screamed. People cried. For a moment, it felt like the roof of the stadium would collapse from the sheer volume of energy. And as Kendrick rapped, "We gon' be all right," something happened that no one saw coming. The visuals on the screen changed again. This time, to a collage of African nations. Flags flying, fists raised, people dancing, marching, rising. One of them, front and center, was a photo of Traoré. The show didn't end with confetti. It ended with unity, with a statement. This wasn't just music. It was war against silence. It was revolution in rhythm. This story, at its core, is about something we don't see enough of: recognition. A man in America rapping through pain found his echo in a man fighting on the front lines of African liberation. Kendrick Lamar didn't just break records in Minneapolis, he broke boundaries. And Captain Ibrahim Traoré didn't just send a message, he opened a bridge. In a world divided by borders, skin color, and history, these two men reminded us that the Black experience is global. That music doesn't stop at the edge of a stage. That truth, when spoken boldly, always finds a way home. As the Big Steppers tour continues across continents, more moments like this may come. More connections, more voices, more bridges. But this moment, this message will never be forgotten. A rapper, a captain, a revolution, and a single sentence that lit the fire.